Listeners of the Randomness of Nothing podcast, this is your host, Rashad Woods, and I have a very special guest today who brings a very unique story that I think everybody's going to want to tune into. Bhavya Gaur, by way of India to U.S. to Canada, and she's the founder of Kindred Souls Academy. You'll want to tune into this one because I think it's going to emotionally resonate with a lot of listeners. Thank you, Bhavya.
Hi, Rashad. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Beautiful times. Thank you so much. Now, we talked before the show started, and your story is so unique that I thought that it's best that you expand upon it yourself. And I would love for you to tell your story.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. So I'm not going to go into detail, but a trigger alert for anybody who has been through abuse or, had to go through divorce or was a single parent. So born and brought up in New Delhi. I was born in the 60s, and those times were different. I'm sure your younger audience won't be able to imagine. It was a different time. The women were treated differently. Well, on a side note, they still are, but those times were worse than now. So I grew up in a Brahmin family, like a Hindu Brahmin family. Religion is a big thing in India. And there were a lot of limitations put on women. So, how much you're eating, how you dress. The role was more of, like the caregiver, the mother, the sister, the wife. The women really didn't. And this is the common society. Women really didn't have their own identity. Like my mother was a teacher. However, she went into that teaching profession so that she had time to take care of the kids, to be a good wife, to cook, to wash, take care of the household chores and stuff, and then have a vacation time, because then when the kids are on vacation, she can be with them.
Right.
So that was the role. So that's where I grew up. But I saw the difference, how the boys were treated and how I was treated. So I became a rebel. And abuse was a pattern in my life from very early on. Started with sexual abuse, then, emotional abuse, went on to physical abuse. And I'm talking about this from childhood up until after marriage. So and I'm very grateful. So that was a part of my life. And the experience I got through that helped me grow as a person, that helped me understand who I am, what is my purpose, why I'm here. Because now, when somebody is going through trauma, there is this tendency that we try to protect ourselves. We try to, just go in in a shell, because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to get hurt. And it's a normal survival skill that we all have.
Right.
Our nervous system is there to kind of protect us.
Of course.
And so from there, I went more into who I was, and also kind of more, you can say God or source, got more into that, because I was trying to figure out why me. What have I done wrong? And again, coming from, the Hindu culture, the Vedic culture, it was all about karma. Like, what did I do wrong? What kind of karma did I create that I have to suffer now? So even as a child, I was very aware of these things. That set me on the path of healing. Started with Reiki. And in those times, I mean, it makes me laugh now. When I even use the word Reiki, people used to take 2 steps back, because they thought, oh my God, I don't know what she does. Like, it's like witchcraft, something.
Oh, no.
And oh my God, Rashad, this was so hilarious, because even my uncles, my maternal uncles, my mom's brothers and all, they sat me down and they're like, you should stay away from all of this. Focus on studies,
Think you joined like a cult or something like that? Oh my gosh.
I guess that's what they thought.
Need to get an intervention right now going on. Oh my gosh. That's
because people didn't understand any of this, right?
yeah.
No, like, energy work and all, energy healing. Nobody understood
Right,
this.
right, right. All they hear is large words and like, hey, wait, wait, wait. Let's all sit her down. Let's see where her head's at right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
it
funny.
was hilarious. So, instead of sharing it with, my uncles, like my family and all,
Hmm.
but my parents were thankfully very supportive. I went deeper. So I started reading a lot.
Hmm.
I started meditating and all, like, and first for me, it was not the meditation you talk about now, like you sit and you do this.
Hmm.
A meditation is what? A meditation is the time when you are actually connecting with yourself.
Right,
That's what is meditation.
right, right.
Everything else that we have now, do this and count this and all of that. It's all fluff that has, with time.
People overcomplicate things, because if you have that quiet moment by yourself, because we have cell phones and we have all these other things, or we get captivated by all these other techniques. And I'm not saying they're valid or invalid or not, but sometimes you just have to sit with your own thoughts and just breathe, and just you'll find your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate gets a little bit slower, you relax, the
Yeah,
tension leaves your body, and then you're like,
yeah,
okay, now I can do something. Now I'm good to go.
yeah. And that's as good as meditating.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
And if like I get this question many times, people are like, I don't know how to meditate. There's no hard and fast rule for anything.
Right.
If you like music, just put some music on
Exactly.
and just sit like 5 minutes. Just sit with yourself and your thoughts. Let the thoughts come and go.
Yep. Yep. And then everything.
And that's how it starts. That's what meditation is.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, what I thought
So
I love this story. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
yeah, no. So from there, now because I was seeking answers, and that led me into, like, after Reiki, I did many other courses, because now when you start on that path, there's no stopping.
Yep.
And what I learned is that the answers that I was seeking outside were all within me. So everything that I learned, every course that I joined, it brought back a piece of me.
Yep.
So it was like a jigsaw puzzle piece that brought me back to myself.
Beautiful.
So instead of, going outside and, where do I find this and I'm seeking this, everything came back to me. And what I loved is that through this experience, I, instead of holding grudge against people, you know, what happened to me, what somebody did to me, everything shifted. And I know it sounds easy when I'm saying that. It has taken me, so I've been doing this work for over 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen overnight. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not setting up expectations that are hard to meet.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm sharing here is that with time, with patience, and with a lot of inner work, there is that freedom that comes that we all are seeking,
Yeah.
but we are seeking somewhere outside of us.
Right.
However, it's all within us. So, what that helped me with is I came to that place where I was not going to take any more abuse from anyone.
It's beautiful.
And I'm saying that there was no anger, animosity, or revenge, none of that feelings. Because I was truly grateful for all these people who created these hurdles for me.
Right.
Because had it not been for them, I wouldn't have been able to overcome them.
Right.
I wouldn't have become the person I became.
Right.
So, how I look at it is, when we are born, our identity, who we become, is based on what we learn from our family, from our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because as children, we are trying to survive. We are dependent on our immediate family, on our extended family, society, for our survival,
Right.
for our needs to be met.
Right.
So we shape shift, we become what everyone wants us to become.
Yep. And you lose the version of yourself that matters the most.
And in all of that, we lose track of our needs. We lose track of who we truly are, what our authentic voice is. And we try to emulate what we see
Yep.
around us, because to us, that's the way to fit in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we were never meant to fit in. We all are unique in our journeys.
I think one of the beauties of the internet and, the good side to it is that, people have discovered that they're not as lonely in their mindset that they were if they thought they were. Now you can find out, wow, there's tons of people who think just like me. And so that's the good side to it. You can cultivate good relationships. There's the ability to have a Zoom or a web call or make immediate connections to that inner circle that didn't exist during your time. Heck, even during my time, growing up as a kid. So you don't have to join a club, so to speak, to try to find out, am I the only one who thinks like this? Or, so it removes a lot of those hurdles.
Yeah. It removes a lot of hurdles, but it also, what it does is it makes life a performance-based art.
Mm-hmm. That's what else I said. Some of the internet, not all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So coming from that place, then, when I was seeking all these answers and all, I was married. It was an abusive marriage, and having that courage at that time to stand up for my rights, because I have 2 daughters. And I didn't want my daughters to be treated the way I was being treated. And that somehow, and I say that, when people say, well, oh, that was so courageous, how were you able to do it? I feel sometimes we're not as courageous when it comes to us,
Right.
but when we see our loved ones, our children.
Right.
Like, I know at that time, my children were the ones who gave me the courage, because I was like, I definitely do not want my daughters to go through what I am going through.
Right.
And that gave me the courage to stand up.
Beautiful.
And it was a first, believe me, it was a first in my family, both like parent side, mother side, father side. So first and foremost, because I was rebellious, I didn't want to get married to the person, like in my caste and religion. So I went out of that. I was a Brahmin, a Hindu Brahmin. I got married to a Sikh.
Okay.
It's a different religion altogether. And we were married for 9 years. So for 9 years, I was hoping things would change,
Yeah.
but then finally, I was like, this is it.
Right.
My daughters were growing up now. And I was like, no, I cannot be that role model for them.
Right.
It's all about women empowerment. And I'm not going to,
Beautiful.
because then when we get very desensitized, when we see something happening,
Of course.
then we think, oh,
This is
it's
normal.
okay.
This is normal, right?
This is normal.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not normal,
Then,
right? It really isn't.
exactly.
And
yeah.
it's
So
crazy because you'll hear like, I lived a pretty nondescript childhood, and I say that very respectfully, but it's like when you hear what other kids went through, you'll be like, I'm a kid. That was not my world, right? So you'll be like, you have certain things where you're like baseball, basketball, video games, pizza. You're like, and then you hear what other kids go through, and you're like, that's not how a kid is supposed to grow up.
Yeah, because your norm is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that was it. And thankfully my parents were, they were supportive of me. And because it was a marriage of my choice, I felt, and I was very clear about one thing. I didn't want to drag my parents into any of this. So Rashad, this is really funny, because I was the one, I hired the lawyer. I went to the lawyer like alone. Okay. I didn't have my parents with me because my father wanted to come. I said, no,
this is my, it's not me.
This is my responsibility.
Yeah.
I took action. And now if I have, now it's time to face the music, I will do that myself.
Absolutely.
So I kept them out of it. And At that time, people were like, oh my God, she doesn't have any emotions and all. Like,
I do.
this has nothing to do with emotions, you know?
Right.
It's, I'm accountable for my life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So now when, things are going downhill, I'm not going to, like, please
But
help me,
no,
like, like
no,
kind
no,
of like
no.
pull people in it.
No. And second of all, like, this is what I'm going to do. I wasn't asking you for your
Yeah.
permission or your input. So, it's
Yeah.
in plain and simple. So there's
Yeah.
nothing to talk about. That's really what it boils down
Yeah.
to. There's nothing to explain. There's nothing to justify. I
Exactly.
took care of business and I moved on. And that's,
Hmm.
whatever your opinion is, that's what your opinion is going to be.
Yeah. And that was it. After divorce, I moved out of India.
Mhm.
I have been in Canada now for almost 25 years.
Mhm.
My daughters were really small at that time, so I started life from scratch. Worked in hotels,
Mhm.
the hotel industry. Went back to school when I came here because I really wanted to. I don't believe in shortcuts in life,
Mhm.
honestly speaking.
Yeah.
So went back to school, got into the hospitality
Mhm.
industry, established myself there, and my girls were really young at that time. And in 2013 is when that chapter of my life closed, and I became an entrepreneur, a
Beautiful.
full-time entrepreneur. I didn't know that at that time, the inner work, the healing journey I was on
Mhm.
was where I was being led,
Mhm.
and that became my full-time. It was always a passion, but that became my full-time
You're all in.
bread and
Yeah,
butter,
you're all in. Yeah.
all it.
Yeah.
And then when I know we shared this a little bit, and then when I was doing this, I didn't even expect that people who were like, holding those C-suite, the positions, the CFOs and CEOs would come to me. So when I was talking to them, the energy work and all made sense to me. But sometimes to a person who's very left brain and very, analytical and all, they cannot see it that way.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, it's time to upgrade my skills. I became a trauma informed certified coach,
Mhm.
breathwork facilitator, and I did a whole lot of things. So it was like an accelerated path, one after the other. I was doing things. And again, it was all I was doing it because I was seeking answers for myself.
Yeah.
And one thing was leading to another. And here I am now. So I bring a unique
Yeah.
mix of. So during this journey, astrology,
Right.
numerology, like, because I was seeking answers and I'm very curious. So my daughters call me Curious George, that
Yeah.
monkey.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. The beauty about the journey is you can only live it and you can only tell it on your terms. And it's the story that you get to tell. And what people, throughout the times that I've had a chance to interview people, one of the overriding themes that I get from people, whether they've created a food product, whether they're a successful CEO, an executive, people who work remote or have come from the military, it's resiliency and drive and the perseverance, even when they're by themselves or even when there's no immediate tangible result that can be given, right? It's not the shiny new product that's on the shelf. It's the work that got put
Yes,
on to get it to the shelf that matters when nobody was looking, when there was no
yes,
glory involved with it, when there was no, my for my example is putting this podcast on. There's a lot of behind the scenes work to be able to get to host this show that people don't see, right?
yeah,
There's a lot of times where you get one download and you'll be like, I put in all that editing work. I thought I did a good job, and not a soul watched it. And in that specific moment, you will find out who you are, right?
yeah.
Are you passionate
Because
enough?
it's a lot of trial and error. It's like life doesn't give us a manual.
No, no, no.
And we're trying things. Sometimes things don't work, and then we tweak and try something else. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's so even like for example in my life, when I started, I was a science student.
Yeah.
From science, now when I was told that, okay, then wow, you like science and also become a doctor. So and now I didn't want to become a doctor because I was being told to become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So now I was like, what do? I went into English literature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, completely different path.
Right.
I left science altogether, English literature. Now I was there and I was studying, and now my father is like, okay, that's good. Now, this is a good profession for women.
Mhm.
So maybe, you study and then become a professor. Now I didn't want to pursue that anymore because now he told me that you have to become this. So
Yeah.
I left that altogether.
Yeah.
I went on to become a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And that was something that was a big no
Right.
for girls from good families.
Yeah.
And I went into theater. That was a bigger no.
Right. What are you doing?
You know?
What are you doing?
Exactly. And then from there, like if you look at it, our purpose in those moments of life is different.
Yes.
You know how people get sometimes stuck in what is my purpose
Oh,
in
oh
life?
yeah.
Well, honey, that purpose, it is changing, it is shifting, it
Mm.
is growing as you are growing. So
Yeah.
there's no one purpose in life, and I just have to follow that, and everything else that comes in
Mm-hmm.
my way,
Yeah.
I am going to ignore it because this is my purpose. It's
I,
this is life,
you know.
it flows, there ebbs and flows, and
Yeah.
you just flow with it.
Let's talk about specifically Kindred Souls Academy. Like, what's an onboarding process like for a client? What's a session like? What exactly do you do for somebody, whether it's a company, whether it's an individual, whether it's group sessions? Can we get to the kind of the nuts and bolts of how that functions and operates?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Kindred Souls Academy was started because I, when I was going through my roller coaster,
It's a beautiful name, by the
life's
way.
roller coaster. Thank you. So, when I was going through my roller coaster, at that time, I felt I needed support, but I didn't know how to ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
And because the people who, even my friends and all, because they were not going through the same journey as I was, they were not able to understand. And I felt there were times when maybe with some sort of support, life would have been easier for me instead of being such an uphill journey.
Right.
So, Kindred Souls Academy was started to assist people who were ready to look beyond whatever they were taught, whatever belief systems they had. So, look beyond that
Right.
and wanted to be accountable for themselves and not blame luck or this person who did this to me or my
Mm-hmm.
circumstances. Or but I don't believe in the blame game because
It'll
it's our
it'll
life.
crush you. It'll absolutely
Yeah,
crush you.
yeah. It's our life, and it's a precious life that we get, and we are accountable for it, which means we are responsible for what we are creating.
Right.
Because I don't believe in that it's black and white, this is the life, you have to live this, done, be done with this.
Yeah.
We are creating it as we are going.
Right.
So that's how the Kindred Souls Academy came into place, literally to support, to be a community of like-minded people where they felt they could belong,
Mm-hmm.
they could raise their hand and get help. And when it started literally as a healing school, Akashic Records.
Mm-hmm.
Akashic Records is basically, and there's a mention of this in all religions, by the way, so it's not something woo woo or something I just pulled out from thin air.
I love your PG words. I love your PG. Right. I love the.
Yeah, so that's why it started,
Yeah.
because it gives us an insight into the patterns, if there are any patterns that have been there and we are carrying them forward
Right.
with us in this lifetime. And the beauty is that awareness is literally that tool that once awareness comes in, everything gets lit up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And this is all it is about. It's not a psychic reading where this is going to happen to you, and none of that.
Yeah.
I use that as an empowerment tool,
Right.
because once I know that, oh, that's why the same thing is repeating in my life, it's not the person's fault, because I'm not learning the lesson, and I can get rid of that relationship.
Yeah.
But if that pattern exists in me, it will show up in the other relationship.
Well, I think also too, it's because people autopilot life, right? So like, it's very easy to have the same alarm set, do the same exact same thing every single day, and not actually stop and assess why you're doing those things, right? Watch this, pop on the same TV program, go to the same kids events, eat at the same restaurant week in and week out, until one day, if you start observing that behavior, you'll sit back and say, you know what, I've been doing this for like a year and I didn't get anything different, right? I made that New Year's resolution of myself, so to speak, or I said that I would start that business. I would cultivate this new relationship. I would be a better version of myself. But I never changed what I was doing to get the result that I was looking for. And those are like,
Yeah.
I had to learn that when it came to starting this show. Man, it'd be really cool to start a podcast, but you know what? I'd really like to watch this Netflix show in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa. Like you're pulling your own leg. You're just lying to yourself. So
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, because we are creatures of habit.
mm-hmm,
And unfortunately, and all of us, everybody goes through some sort of trauma.
mm-hmm,
And trauma is what? When our needs are not being met.
yep,
And everybody, like, none of us gets life on a platter, right? We have to
you have to
work
work
our
at
way,
it.
even as children.
You have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Even as children, like, a trauma can be created, you're very hungry, but your mom, her hands are full. She's already like in the batter or
mm-hmm,
whatever. I'm just giving a hypothetical
yeah,
situation. And, if she's doing something, immediately she cannot drop everything and come to you.
right,
Like she needs to, just, finish whatever, take 5-10 minutes, whatever, wash her hands,
yeah.
and then come and pick up the child. So that 5-10 minutes for
It's a
the child
lifetime.
is lifetime, and for them it's like abandonment because their mother was not there. The child needed her,
Right,
was so hungry, but she was busy in her own thing.
right,
She ignored his or her needs.
right,
So that trauma got created there,
right.
right there. And just a very simple example.
Yeah, right.
So and what we do is we live our life as a trauma response.
Mhm.
And it's, you know, nature, human body is beautiful. Our nervous system is set up in such a way that even before a threat is there, it senses it.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Now, there's a little bit of a caveat in this, which is sometimes what may seem like a threat is not necessarily a threat.
Right.
So we go into that trauma response even before. So a small example for this is, let's say, a girl is expecting that, her boyfriend is going to propose to her today. And she's like all excited. She saw a box that looked like a ring box or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And, maybe the guy is like, he doesn't want to, rush things. And he's there and say, honey, I wanted to say, something to you. And like he has a serious expression or something. So when he's coming to her and there might be something serious going on with him, okay? But because she's expecting that, her expectation is not being met. And if he has that serious expression on his face and he says, there's something I need to share with you. And she, like, in her heart will be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
is he breaking up with me?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
The immediate come down, like the immediate
Exactly.
come down, right? Like,
And she may even say something that she may regret later on. But this is how the nervous system is trying to protect.
okay.
But sometimes things are not what they seem to be.
Right. I think
So, yes,
no,
please go
I
ahead.
think that humans need more emotional connection than they think that they do, and then COVID was a perfect example of that too, right? Everybody wanted to be left alone until they were. You know what I mean? You're like, whoa, this is what isolation is like. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. So that trauma response and all kind of dictates how we are living our life today. Because unfortunately, even when we are trying to move away from that past because we don't want to live with trauma, we kind of drag that with us, and we are bringing that in our present, and then we are building our future on that same thing. Now, I have complete respect for what happened in life because that is our foundation. That's where we started.
Mm-hmm.
And it will always be a part of it. But then it is up to us not to keep digging it up
Right.
again and
Right.
again.
Right.
And because we can start from a clean slate.
Right. Right.
And that's important because once we have learned whatever we were here, we had to learn through that experience. We don't have to relive that again and again. And even if the memory is coming, we are in that place to differentiate that happened then.
Right.
It's not happening now.
Right.
So the whole idea of kindred souls was to be present to bring that space for anyone who wanted.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And from there, different kind of offerings that are there, so people can get their Akashic readings done.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I just don't do the reading.
Mm-hmm.
I combine it with healing because many times we are not able to understand why something is happening. We are looking for superficial solutions.
Right.
Like, somebody will come in and when will I get this job? And there might be more layers underneath that are actually building or are already present and they're compressed. So the healing, what that does is it is able to bring in that healing that of the layers that one may not be aware of. And then the Akashic reading part is a very interactive part. So there are two components to it. One is um, just lying down on the bed
Mm-hmm.
and I work on the energy of the person. And it is like I have clients all over the world, so it does not have to be in person.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And then the Akashic reading part is where I access their records and then with their permission, of course. And then at that time, share with them whatever is I'm seeing, and then they're able to ask questions as well. So that's one component. And then I also, because everything is energy, so for business people, there's another session that I offer, which is actually themselves and their business,
Right.
because both are working together. So when we are, as businesswoman, I'm representing the soul
Mm-hmm.
or the work of Kindred Souls Academy.
Right.
And if we are not aligned,
It will not be successful.
that will not work.
Especially.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, especially when you're the solopreneur, because like it's not like you can tap like Janet or Todd on the shoulder and say, "Hey, listen, I'm having a bad week. Go ahead and pick up where I left off." Right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm a crappy host, like I do this by myself, right? I can't be like, well, hey Bob, you're sorry about the really terrible interview I gave you today, but Tom over here is gonna pick up where I left off to give you a better experience.
Yeah. 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 So there's that part also. And then I bring in, because I also believe in one thing, healing is not a one-time thing. It's not a one and done thing. As long as we are living, there will always be triggers in our environment. There will always be something that we need to learn or face or be aware of.
Of course.
So it's not like I have done the healing now, that I'm good. It's also about what we are creating. So a lot of it is, so that's where the coaching part comes in. And I do one-on-one coaching for people as well as coaching cohorts where we are working on everything. So we are working on it's somatic, psychological, unconscious. So conscious becomes the psychological.
Right.
I bring in breath work in there, mindset work. So all of that, because now that the healing has happened, now what we are doing is we are creating our life. And how we create our life and what we desire and what we want fulfilled, it's up to us. So there are no limits because the universe is abundant.
Right.
We're not here to suffer.
No. And the other thing about it is
only thing standing in our way is this.
Is our mind. What you're coaching is process improvement, right? It's the continue and then and at a high level, right? Because people can say process improvement because it sounds like people get sentenced like, oh, process improvement, whatever fluff.
Yeah.
No, it really is the ability to look at yesterday and progress from that point, right? And
Yeah.
I've given people this example a couple times. I have a black belt in karate. It's
Mhm.
even if you don't necessarily progress to the next belt, I'm better than I was the day before because I put in the work on the previous curriculum to advance
Yes.
to what could be the next belt, even if I don't necessarily have it. And then when the moment is available to progress to that next belt, I already put in the work necessary to achieve it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're testing
Yeah.
next week. Great. I'm, not like, oh shoot, now I got to cram. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really, not really looking too good right
Yeah.
now here, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
Yeah.
you never.
We're always work in progress.
Yes.
We're always. And that's the beauty of our this journey of life.
No.
I'm not the person I was 2 days ago. I'm
No.
not the person I was 10 years ago.
No.
We're growing, we're progressing,
Right.
and we are expanding as an individual. And as we are expanding as an individual, we are able to relate more and more with the collective.
Right.
And when we are able to understand ourselves, we are able to understand others better.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we are creating the life that we desire. So it's not, how it used to be like life is a suffering. Well, it's not.
Mhm. No.
It's just a redundant belief. And if we keep believing in that, then that is what we will keep repeating. It's like a cycle, or a circle that you cannot, break free
It's
from.
like those people who argue with people on the internet who swear up and down that there's like a prize to be won if they win an argument online. Like, let me newsflash people. Like, it, find the energy and time that you're arguing with somebody online to do something that betters yourself. It's like you look at, especially like adults, right? You'll be like, really, you're really arguing with somebody on the internet about their opinion, as if like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, wow.
And it makes me laugh because people go back and forth. They don't even
Oh,
know. These are complete
total,
strangers.
like somebody you never, and you're mad at home, like or you're at your kid's soccer match, or you're trying to watch a movie and you can't even focus on anything. You're like, this total stranger has got you completely rewired and reworked over something that means nothing,
Exactly.
nothing. It's probably a bot.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the.
You know what I mean? Like, really, like, but I wanted to add a little levity, to the situation, but no, and those are the times where you have to realize that you could be tripped up on your course or your path or your journey. I always ask this of every guest because, man, I think the world of this interview, and I'm so honored you shared your story. Where can people find Bhavya Gaur and Kindred Souls Academy? Like, where can people contact you if they love this episode?
Okay. So, well, Kindred Souls Academy, kinderdsouls.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually, if you want, I can, put the links in if that would
I'll
help.
make
I don't know if I can.
I'll insert it in the episode. I'll make sure that gets done.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And I am also on, so official Bhavya Gaur, that's on Facebook, and I'm
Mhm.
on LinkedIn, which is my, Bhavya Gaur, just the name. And if you look it up, there will be many Bhavya Gaurs people will find.
Oh my gosh, I Googled you,
So
right? Because I was like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. I was like, no, there's like two or three. I was like, let me get specific. So then I had to look up Kindred
all the
Souls
all the
after.
other ones are younger ones. They're much younger than me.
Newsflash to people who are listening, like the person that you think is old was young once too. So like you're fortunate enough to get older. Like you'll never be the youngest person in the room at some point. Like I thought I'd be 18 forever. I'm not. So like, anybody who's like, oh, they're older. Okay. Wait 15, 20 years. You'll get there.
Oh my goodness. On Instagram, the handle is at Bhavya Gaur Official.
Mhm.
So Facebook is at Official Bhavya Gaur. It kind of flipped.
Yeah.
And then Instagram is at Bhavya Gaur Official. And LinkedIn is at Bhavya Gaur. And I am new on TikTok.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how all these
But
things keep springing up and you have to like familiarize yourself with, like, oh my gosh, here's the next, you know.
And oh my God, Rashad, this was a TikTok one was hilarious. By the way, that handle is at sassy spiritualist.
Okay.
Okay. And this was hilarious. I did a live for the first time. I'm new there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I did a live and I didn't expect people to to hop on. So I just went live. I was just sitting there, very spontaneous. I said, okay. So I'm here. I thought I'll go live. And suddenly I see all of these requests. People wanted to collaborate. And I'm like, oh my goodness. What? And literally left, right, and center. So it's very distracting.
Oh yeah.
And with my age, I'm like almost 57.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all of this, like everything is
It was,
hitting me left, right,
oh
and
yeah.
center.
It doesn't exactly have like
So,
training wheels on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's no training wheels on social media.
but Rashad, 10 minutes, that was it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm getting off because of like so much happening here.
Yeah.
So, and then the funny part is because I just was like, okay, let me do this. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So here I am on my phone, and people are like just,
Oh yeah.
there are comments and people, sending collaboration requests and all. I'm like, okay, guys, this is as raw as it gets because now I need to figure out how to end this. I didn't know how to end it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, now where is the button to
and they
end
make
it?
them real hard to find, right? And you're like, and then you're having like that private.
No, it was not really hard to find,
Yeah,
Rashad. It was
it
me.
was you. But
I couldn't see.
yeah, it happens, man. And like, the funny part is like you got to like somehow act like it's like a play, right? Like like the actor forgets the line, but the people in the watching the play don't know that you missed the line, and you just got to plow through it like it never was anything, no big deal. Yeah,
Yeah. And one thing I would love to, say to your audience, please don't take your life seriously. Nobody gets out of it alive anyways. So, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live your life, laugh a lot.
Oh yeah.
I really, really mean it. Like, it's a short life. The years are going by so fast.
Without question.
But so make the most of it. Don't put things on hold. Of like, I want to do this when. Oh, that when is now.
Yeah, absolutely
So,
is.
just
without
live
question.
your life fully. Enjoy.
That's how I started this podcast, right? Because it was just like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get this microphone or this headset. I'm gonna go ahead and get on here, and you know what? I'll look foolish, but at least I gave it my best shot.
And the best thing is, if you can laugh at yourself, I think that's the best gift ever.
You are absolutely.
Those belly laughs that you can get.
It goes a long way. It really does. Because, in a way, it like disarms people, right? Because they're like, oh, you did terrible. And I said, man, yeah, once I slipped and fell, I was laughing too. And then all of a sudden it becomes, and so there's beauty in busting your butt, So having said all that, I think this is one of the more enlightening episodes that I've had, and I am honored that you shared your story and we had a chance to talk even before this about how beautiful life truly is. And I'm very honored that you took time out of your busy schedule.
I'm honored. It's
Yeah.
I really appreciate you and this work that you are doing. It's beautiful because just hearing your podcast, people can get some nuggets out of that, and that goes a long way. So it's not a small job, small work that you are doing.
We talk about the stuff.
It's of a big magnitude.
Yeah, this is what college won't teach you, and I have a lot of respect for universities and the things that they do. But sometimes, you have to seek it. It can't be put in a classroom. It has to be in your DNA. It has to be in your heart, and you have to pursue it with every ounce of vigor that you have available in you. Because like you said, you don't get out of this thing alive. And it's much better to be curious than to be wondering about maybe I should start this tomorrow. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's an absolute honor. That was beautiful. That was